of the proposed 25 million gallons of wastewater per day into the lake. This is a big problem. Just FYI, 25 million gallons per day is equal to a flow rate of 35 cubic feet per second. I have calculated that the average natural flow rate from the creek into the reservoir is an average throughout the year of 30 cubic feet per second, meaning that the majority of the water in the reservoir, especially during our dry summers, will primarily consist of wastewater from the tenants of the LEAP project. When you combine wastewater treatment methods of chemical precipitation and enhanced biological removal, up to 90% of phosphorus is removed from the treated wastewater. This will still subject the reservoir to the remaining 10% of phosphorus that does not be removed from your treatment facility. So I'm sure all of you know phosphorus causes really bad blue-green algae blooms, especially in the summer and fall when there's not a lot of water coming into the lake from the creek. That will affect the safe use of the reservoir for recreation, including financially sensitive activities such as the rowing tournaments that are held there, the triathlons that they hold there, and their boat rentals in Eagle Creek Park. At a meeting I attended yesterday with Citizens Energy representatives, a homeowner that owns a very large house directly on the reservoir announced that his neighbor, who put up his multi-million-dollar house for sale last Friday, was told by his realtor that any potential buyers of his house must be advised about the plans to dump wastewater into the reservoir because it could negatively impact the value of the property in the future. None of these wastewater issues need to happen. There is a better way. I propose that the wastewater from the LEAP project should be directed to the Dig Indy system in Indianapolis, which would only add 5 additional miles to the wastewater pipe. I think Zuckerberg and Lilly have the money to do this right the first time. Another great part of this proposal is that it would alleviate the need for Lebanon utilities to spend millions of dollars to update their water treatment facility. I'm sure the taxpayers would love this. All of the water that goes into the Dig Indy system is ultimately treated by Citizens Water Treatment Facility on the south side of Indianapolis before being put into the White River. Wouldn't this help you all make this build out cheaper and easier? It would have to. I encourage this board to consider this idea as a viable option instead of using Eagle Creek Reservoir as a guinea pig. Thank you.
Thanks for your comments. Any other comments at this time? All right, we'll move to our first action item. That's approval of our minutes from the February 4th, 2026 meeting. Everyone had a chance to review those, and if so, I would entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made by Tim, seconded by Ann to approve the minutes from the February 4th, 2026 meeting. Any comments, questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, thank you. Next item is with our CFO, Sandra Morgan. She has the second quarter fuel adjustment for us. Hey, Sandra.
Good afternoon, everyone. On February the 16th, 2026, we received our quarter 2 electric fuel adjustment tracker from O.W. Cronin Associates. I have sent that to everyone. I'm not going to read through all of these numbers, but this report has been reviewed by myself, the acting electric operations manager, billing, and the finance committee. And one of the things we normally like to do is just say, what kind of effect did that have on the residential for the quarter? And for the second quarter, the effect it has on the residential class is it is a change of 25.98% increase. And as a reminder, that only affects a very small portion of the bill. So an average bill for residential would go up $5.19. But if we look at that over the past 12 months, it's actually only changed by 2.86%. So hopefully everybody's had a chance to review everything that was presented, and we are recommending that the board approve the 2026 second quarter fuel adjustment tracker with an effective date of April, May, and June of 2026.
Thanks, Sandra. Questions for Sandra?
So I made note in the documents you provided that there was a line loss for the 2025 calendar year of 3.059%. That line loss is the difference between the kilowatt hours purchased and the kilowatt hours sold. Our performance target is less than 5%. So I just wanted to make note that our electric department is, from the line loss standpoint, is meeting our goals.
Well, thank you.
Sandra, do we have some understanding as to why we have more sawtooth on these payments than just a smooth line for the 2.86?
It always runs about 6 months behind, and it corrects itself, because I noticed the same thing. If you go to, I don't know, you guys should have it somewhere, but if you look, it was down 18%, then up
Right, right.
22%.
Right.
No, I can reach out to IMPA and see if they can better educate me on why it,
I feel a lot
tracks
better
like
about
that.
seeing my electric bill go up by 2.86% over the last year versus 25% over this coming
at a
quarter.
time. Yeah.
Because, I mean, this sawtooth instead of something that's smooth, it just seems odd. But it would, if we can get something from IMPA, that would be nice.
Yep, I'll get something from IMPA. I know it's tied directly to the rate that they pay for the fuel. So, but I'll get something in writing from them.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions for Sandra on the tracker?
I move to approve the 2026 second quarter fuel adjustment tracker with an effective date of April, May, and June of 2026.
Second.
Motion made by Ann, seconded by Tim to approve the 2026 second quarter fuel adjustment tracker with an effective date of April, May, and June 2026. Any additional questions, comments? All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, thanks, Sandra.
All right, thank you.
All right, our next item tonight is with David Bailey. He's acting as our electric operations manager at the moment, and he is presenting a electric department bucket truck purchase. Hey, David.
Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. So today I'm here, but first I want to apologize. I uploaded the wrong documents, and Aaron was quick to point that out. So we got those corrected in time. But we're here today to replace one of our existing bucket trucks, a 2013 Ford F-750 that has a whole list of issues. The bucket truck that we sent out quotes for, we did 2 quotes for an Altec and a UTE or a Versalift. The Altec came in cheaper, and it is the preferred truck of the person who is driving this. It is a budgeted item, and we put in $360,000 in the budget. The requested amount was $303,985. So today I'm asking the board to declare the old bucket truck number 11 as surplus according to the Indiana Code 522-22 and have it auctioned off. And for the purchase of the new bucket truck, the 2026 Altec model TA60, not to exceed amount of $303,985, and have the general manager sign off on all the documents.
All right, thank you, David. Questions for David on this purchase or auction of the old equipment? All right, we'll have 2 motions here. The first to declare the old truck as surplus and selling it at auction. Second will be the purchase of the new truck. So if there are no further questions or discussion, I'd entertain a motion on the declaration of surplus for the first truck.
I move to approve declaring the 2013 Altec bucket truck as surplus property according to Indiana Code 5-22-22 and have J.J. Kane auctioneers sell it at auction.
Second.
Motion made by Tim, seconded by Ann to approve declaring the 2013 Altec bucket truck as surplus with J.J. Kane auctioneers selling it. Any additional comments? All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, now we will move to the purchase of the new vehicle. Any comments? And if not, I'd entertain a motion.
I'm going to abstain from this
Okay.
vote.
Move to approve the purchase of a 2026 Alltech model TA60 bucket truck with a not-to-exceed amount of $303,985 from Alltech and have General Manager Ed Baskell sign all appropriate documents.
Second.
Motion made by Tim, seconded by Aaron to approve the purchase of the 2026 Alltech model TA60 bucket truck with a not-to-exceed amount of $303,985 from Alltech, with our general manager signing the documents. Any additional comments? All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed?
We need your verbal.
Oh, aye as well, to make it 3. Thanks for the reminder, Tim. All right, move to our item 7 tonight, which is declaring some surplus here. It looks like an air compressor. Spencer Portage from our Water Wastewater Department. Hey, Spencer.
How are you? This request is to declare a Solaire air compressor as surplus. We believe this unit to be roughly 30 years old. Unfortunately, over the years, this unit kind of got put in the back of a barn, left and forgot about. So we kind of need to clear some space with the wastewater treatment plant expansion going on. So this equipment does not start. It was last serviced in 2002. The goal would be to let an auctioneer attempt to sell this with the board's approval. And with that, I request the approval to declare the Solaire air compressor as surplus according to Indiana Code 5-22-22.
All right, thanks, Spencer. Questions for Spencer on this air compressor?
That thing may predate even Ryan Ottinger in the wastewater department.
I don't know.
He's getting pretty old.
All right, if there are no questions, I would entertain a
I just
motion.
wanted to make it clear, we're not declaring Ryan Ottinger as surplus.
We still need him. All right, any additional comments? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I move to approve declaring the Solaire air compressor as surplus property according to IC 52222.
Second.
Motion by Ann, seconded by Tim, declaring the Solaire air compressor as surplus property, according to IC 52222. Additional questions, comments? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, looks like Spencer's getting rid of some more stuff here. Let's see, truck number 6, Spencer?
Yes, sir. This request is to declare vehicle number 6 as surplus. This is a 2015 Dodge 3500 HD service truck. This would be traded in with the next proposal that you'll see, but essentially I would like to request for the approval to declare vehicle 6 as surplus according to Indiana Code 5-22-22.
Right. Questions, comments for Spencer on this vehicle surplus? I'd entertain a motion.
Move to approve declaring vehicle number 6, a 2015 Dodge 3500 HD service truck as surplus property according to Indiana Code 5-22-22.
Second.
Motion made by Tim, seconded by Ann to approve declaring vehicle 6, 2015 Dodge 3500 HD service truck as surplus property according to IC 52222. Additional comments, questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? All right. Spencer, it looks like you have one more item here, and this is a truck purchase.
Yes, sir. This would be the replacement of vehicle number 6, a 2015 Dodge 3500 HD. We received 3 quotes on similar truck styles from Ford, of the Ford F450 model. Through our research, we were able to find a complete F450 with the service bed already included. That would be a cheaper option than purchasing a cabin chassis and later on adding the service bed. So you'll see 2 quotes from separate dealerships that are just the cabin chassis, as well as the Clark Truck Equipment service bed quote. After And after closer consideration, I'd like to let the board know that under line item 12 in our budget, we have vehicle 10 being replaced. And I'd like to kind of 1A and 1B this request with the approval of the purchase, as well as changing the verb, and I'll lean on Jeff here a little bit, council, essentially changing truck 10 or vehicle 10 to vehicle 6 in the budget. We did some research. The water distribution crew, this is one of their vehicles. Essentially, truck 10 has fewer miles and less work done in the past. And initially, we had truck 6 and truck 10 on the budget, but with some considerations going through budget meetings, we decided to remove one. Turns out we incorrectly picked. But essentially, I'd like to have that verbiage in here, and I'll read my request. I request the approval for the purchase of the 2026 Ford F-450 cabin chassis with a KUV bed from Brad Howell Ford for the amount not to exceed $74,655, as well as approve the change to budget line item number 12 to replace vehicle 6 in lieu of vehicle 10. I can repeat that for when you need your motion, if you'd like.
So it sounds like we can do one motion, just adding that additional verbiage. Is that right? Okay. All right. Any questions for Spencer on this specific purchase? If not, a motion with some additional lingo at the end.
I move to approve the motion just suggested by Mr. Portish.
Second.
All right, so we have the motion to approve the purchase of the 2026 Ford F-450 cabin chassis with an amount not to exceed $74,655. We're also replacing truck 10 with truck 6 on light item 12 in the budget. It had a motion by Aaron and a second by Ann. Sound right, Jeff?
Yes.
All right. Any additional discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, thanks, Spencer. We have item 10 here is the approval of our claims payroll transfers dated March 4th, 2026. Everyone had a chance to review those items, and if so, I would entertain a motion.
I move to approve the claims, payroll, and transfers dated March 4th, 2026 in the amount of $1,793,538.17 for claims and payroll and $14,909,113.14 for transfers.
Second.
Motion made by Ann, seconded by Tim to approve the claims, payrolls, and transfers dated March 4th, 2026. Additional comments, questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, anyone from the board have other business tonight? Ed, anything tonight?
No, sir.
All right, we'll offer public comment if anyone has any additional comments tonight. Good evening.
Good evening. My name's Tom Davis. I'm also a resident of Pike Township in Indianapolis. I live about a half a mile away from the southern end of the reservoir. Before I say anything, I want to ask how many other people that are here tonight are here because they drove up from Pike Township or from Indianapolis? And how many of you support the general idea of them bringing their wastewater back to, can I see a show of thumbs? Is it? Okay. I'm not going to add to the gentleman's statistics, but I just have a question for the board, maybe for anybody out in the audience. The project as it stands right now, as you drive up and down 65, which is my main notice of it, The Lilly project seems to be, at least the outdoors parts of the building are done. Is it working on the inside yet? Anybody know? We also found out after being told by Lebanon's utility group a couple of weeks ago at a meeting at high school that Meta wasn't yet ready to start developing, that they broke ground the next day. My general question, though, is, and again, it's addressed to you guys, maybe you guys don't know the answer. We already have Lilly well underway. We have Meta having broken ground. We don't know who else is going to be in there. Why are we still talking about how are we going to get water up there and wastewater someplace else? Why wasn't all that settled before they even broke ground on Lilly? I know that Lafayette stopped basically the same idea from there. I think that Zionsville also stopped the wastewater from coming back to Zionsville. But why are we so far along on the project and still talking about, where's the water going to go?
Sir, I can defer you to our team when we have the office hours tomorrow. But in short, with the plan was in place, and when we went to Pike County and presented, we were being totally truthful in that the water from Meta is not, although they may have broken ground the next day, they're not going to be built out for several years, and that the water is not going to hit our wastewater plant, and that's what we meant. And these are how things are planned. We cannot plan how things are going to happen in the future. More than happy to take you through the plans in more detail at one of our sessions, or let one of my team add anything they might want to add now. Thank you.
To answer you more directly, the water and the wastewater planning, all right, I think it was explained at one of the meetings, I don't know if you were there, that Lebanon's been deficient of water for a long time. We've been looking at water sources for more than 30 years to bring to this town. It just happened to coincide with the state making an economic decision in Boone County, and it happened to impact us. That's actually when all that started. Whenever the announcements of LEAP and all that started, there were some thoughts around that. I know the state had done water studies before that, but we were unaware of most of those things. We are executing actually decisions that were made by the state to the best of our ability to bring some water and add sewage capacity to this town.
So basically you guys were as uninformed as we were.
I don't know that it's all the same. We've been informed of this for years.
Right.
But we've
weren't.
been planning for water and wastewater. There's a lot of detail that had to come to fruition before anything else happens. And we had to work with the state to get to that point. And there were many different avenues that were researched by the state before we even came into play. I hope that helps.
Well, it kind of shows me that the state was shoving it down your throats like we're getting it shoved down ours.
Our elected city council and mayor made a conscious decision and voted thusly to, in essence, accept LEAP. So it wasn't shoved down our throats. Our elected officials made a carefully determined decision.
Yeah. I appreciate your comments.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Any other comments tonight? Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Great.
Good. It's good to see everybody. Appreciate, again, you letting people speak. I do have a question. Someone last week came up to the podium and was talking about the Indy Dig. Sorry, my name is Dawn Gleason, and I'm from Indianapolis. A visitor multiple times to the park, Eagle Creek Park. But somebody last week was talking about the Indy Dig, 10 feet, I think 10 feet. 10 miles, I think it is, below Indianapolis. Has there been any thought to rerouting the water to, not that I want the water, but if the water is coming towards Indianapolis, for that water to go into the Indy Dig and to be cleaned and processed again before it's dumped into Eagle Creek. Do you know if that's been considered?
I think our response to that would be, that's entirely CEG. I mean, they were responsible. They built out an awful lot of Indy Dig. And it's Indy's new sewer system, I know that. But beyond that, we would have no concept, no data, no inputs regarding that. That's a question for CEG.
Okay, so my understanding then, because I'm new to all of this, so is the way this process works is that CEG dictates what all the cities do with the Indiana Development Corp? Is that kind of how this works? And so you're in a position where whatever the Indiana Corp and whatever CEG says to do, Lebanon has to do, just like we have to do? Is that how this works? I'm not being facetious. I'm actually trying to understand the process.
I think what Aaron said has relevance here in that the state made a proposal to the city of Lebanon about a development district, and the city of Lebanon, our elected officials, accepted that. Based upon that acceptance, then actions related to water and wastewater have occurred. We are responsible for executing those. We are, all right, the Lebanon utility is a not-for-profit owned by the city of Lebanon. All right, we are appointed officials. We're not elected officials. And we are executing relative to the direction we've received from the city based upon interactions with the state.
Okay.
I don't know if anybody can say that differently or simply.
So the other, just as a comment, I believe about a year ago, the City of Lebanon and Citizens Energy Group entered into a water supply agreement, which you may or may not have heard about. And part of that agreement, in the informal discussions outside the four corners of that agreement, were to attempt to provide watershed balance back to Eagle Creek Reservoir. And you can take different positions on whether or not additional water will help the reservoir or not, and how much is going to be drawn out of there or not. So our commitment in partnership with Citizens Energy Group was to try to provide watershed balance back to Eagle Creek Reservoir.
Okay.
And so by doing that, this was one of the concepts that was forwarded, was discharging back to the reservoir to try to create that balance. This is not a new concept in Indiana, though, everyone kind of thinks that, oh my gosh, there's going to be sewage discharge. That's just not the case. This happens all over the state in almost every watershed across the state, where water is recycled and put back into balance for use in drinking water and then recycled back. And so that's what the attempt that Lebanon Utilities was charged with trying to execute, and will to some extent execute in some capacity, trying to provide water back to some watershed for reuse and recycling. There's three communities that already discharge into Eagle Creek Reservoir. And, I don't know the makeup of those communities in terms of what their process is, but, they, like Lebanon Utilities, will have to comply with permitting that's regulated by the state in terms of what the makeup of that is. So, not a new process, attempting to try to adhere to our partnership with citizens and trying to provide them water back into that watershed for reuse. And for us, and we have just as vested interest of drawing water back out of there and returning it clean, because it's going to be recycled back up to the city of Lebanon for use as well. Mm-hmm. So, big picture, that's what Lebanon has been charged with doing, is still studying that issue and that concept. So, we're still looking and trying to come up with various options and iterations. So thanks for your comments.
So I just have one other thing to ask then. So in this collaboration, I didn't hear about Indianapolis being part of that. Is that like normal that
I don't know that Indianapolis has anything to do. We've not entered into any agreement with Indianapolis. That's between Citizens Energy Group and the city of Indianapolis.
So it's kind of like Lebanon deals with CEG, CEG deals with Indianapolis, the mayor deals with the park. Is that kind of the
I'm not sure what mayor, if you're talking about the mayor of Lebanon dealing with the park.
Mayor Hogsett of
Yeah, I
Indianapolis?
can't speak to any of those issues. I can tell you what we've been charged with dealing, and that's been Citizens Energy Group and Indiana Economic Development Corporation.
And ultimately, it's Indiana Economic Development Corp. Who has been kind of pushing the project. Is that right?
They initiated the LEAP project adjacent to, and which was eventually annexed into the city of Lebanon.
Okay. Well, I appreciate your comments. I'm still learning. I'm just looking for healthy water for everyone, of course. I know you all have a vested
Us
interest
too.
as well. Yeah, no, I know. We all want healthy water. So I do appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Appreciate it. Any additional comments tonight? All right.
Hello, my name is Megan. I live in Pike Township. I am curious now, what does Lebanon Utilities feel is your responsibility in terms of the construction of this project? And also just curious about what outfalls are actually being evaluated at this point precisely, and what's being evaluated in the context of an anti-degradation study?
Can I answer that first, and then I'll turn it over to our legal counsel? We don't have that on the agenda tonight. We have a meeting set up for that. We've given plenty of presentations, one of which I think you were running, and we covered all of those, and we're not really prepared to. We have maps, we have drawings, and we've already shared that with you, and we can share it again.
I have not been shared maps or drawings, but I would love that. Thank you.
Oh, no, it was actually in the presentation when you guys were
I
talking
never
over
received-
us at Pike
I
County.
never
Are
received
you
a
talking when I'm
copy of
talking,
the
or
presentation, and we
are
live
you
in
talking
Pike
while I'm talking,
Township.
ma'am? I'm sorry, it's rude.
This is why we've set up kind of
Okay,
the
hold on,
Q&A.
just-
This is why we set up the Q&A, and Ryan has office hours to get to specific questions. And as Ed said, we've shared a lot of things publicly, but we don't want to get into a back and forth here about specific project items when we have.
I do want to add, though. Ed, is it true that we, in the process of hiring another consultant to consider options for the delivery of the water?
Yes, sir. The construction of this project would not start till 2028 at the earliest. The anti-degradation study is in progress, and we're adding an environmental scientist to our team to look at different options and look at Eagle Creek. So
So no final decision has been made on where the wastewater, the treated clear wastewater from Lebanon Utilities will be delivered for eventual delivery to Eagle Creek. In other words, that final point has not been finally determined.
It has not been finally determined. I have a representative from Westler here who can speak to that more directly. If Kate, is that Katie back there? If you, when the person's done speaking, I can let her come up.
Okay, I just wanted to emphasize that decision, and this is, I believe, what the lady was directly asking about, that the final decision has not been made on where the water will be delivered to.
It's also fair to say that the decision where we're seeing the outlet now as proposed provides for the most stringent and strict usage of current environmental law.
How so?
I would have, that's the response to me. I'd ask.
There's an NPDES permit, and Eagle Creek is the waters of the state. They have jurisdiction over Eagle Creek Reservoir and what gets discharged there. Not the city of Indianapolis, not Pike Township, but that authority is delegated to IDEM, and they gave us preliminary limits, and we chose Eagle Creek as the worst case example of what would give us the lowest limits to design our plant, and the studies are still ongoing.
Thank you. I was wondering if IEDC is truly the project owner, why were they not brought to our meeting, and why is Citizens and Lebanon Utilities representing themselves as in charge of discharge? And how do we contact IEDC? Who is the best point of contact, please?
I can't speak to IEDC. IEDC, they're an economic development corporation. They're involved at the front end. This is a project right now where CEG has money invested, and so does Lebanon Utilities, so it's our project.
Why did this body not feel the need to contact the city of Indianapolis about this proposal?
I think we talked about Indianapolis prior, not being directly connected with the project now, but again, these are questions that would fit these sessions that we've designed and that are probably, out in some of the presentations we've had, so.
Again, I think the answer to that question is Citizens Energy Group. Again, they own the water, or they don't own. The state owns Eagle Creek.
No, the city owns Eagle Creek.
Okay, the city owns
Yes,
Eagle
thank
Creek.
you.
Citizens been delegated the authority of that water. They made a request to us. Okay? They made a request to us. We are trying to fulfill that request. All right. So when it comes to conversations with the city of Indianapolis, I don't know. I can't speak for CEG.
Thank you. And then I just had one more question, because I think we've heard frequently that it is common practice to return water to a water body that where directly drinking water is pulled from to be treated and sent to people's homes. Could we have a list maybe posted on Lebanon Utilities website in this portal or now about where that's taking place in Indiana?
Again, that was part of our presentation, but
I was going to say Eagle Creek Reservoir.
yes. Yeah, there's 3 wastewater discharges in the Eagle Creek Reservoir, and the slideshow we gave it where you were moderating, I believe, we listed those on the slide, and we're happy to give those again, and it's recorded on YouTube on our website when we gave that presentation when it was on the agenda.
That would be great. Yeah, we never got a copy of the slideshow, so that would be really appreciated. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Could I ask Katie to come up, and is there anything you want to add? I hate to put you on the spot, but did I say anything wrong? She's a gifted engineer with Wessler Engineering.
Thanks for the opportunity. Get it? Yeah, I'm Katie Castro-Jackson. I work with Wessler Engineering. We are one of the engineers working with Lebanon Utilities on the wastewater return. I'm trying to recall some of the concerns or the questions that were brought up. Megan, I believe you had asked where in the state water is returned to a drinking water source.
Not exactly.
Oh, okay, then I misunderstood.
I did not phrase it well, but my understanding is there's not a lot of district.
When you're saying close proximity, how, just so we can make sure we give you the information. Okay, I would say there's probably a large amount of places in the state that do that, but IDEM has that all available on their sites. Every place that discharges into a river or discharges upstream of a reservoir or into a reservoir, and then water's being pulled out, but.
Yeah, it keeps getting brought up.
Hey, let me interrupt real quick.
Oh.
I know that other bodies may do it this way, but we really are trying to not have some sort of audience podium conversation.
Okay, sorry.
And so that's the purpose of having discussions after and having office hours and breakout sessions. And so I really want to try to avoid that on behalf of the board if we could. So
I
if you have any,
apologize.
no. If you have any other comments, that would be great. Otherwise,
I guess just blanket statement, what Ed said, and I believe Tim had said it too, we are evaluating. There has been no formal decision on where the water will be discharged. We are evaluating multiple locations. We're going back to models, to studies, and all in response to the public comments that we've received or that the board has received, in effort to try to make this as transparent as we can. I feel like we've been or have tried to be nothing but transparent. And yeah, we're continuing to work. So.
Thank you. Thanks for
Thanks. Sorry.
all your help.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Council. I'll be extremely brief. Thank you for Wessler being here. I just want to make you guys aware, I received letters in my mailbox from Wessler because my house is directly across from where the pipeline is being constructed. I would like you guys to know that my neighbors would like to be here tonight to be a part of this meeting as well. The people that actually have the pipe going under their homes, I should say pipes, because both pipes are proposed to follow the same route. Those people cannot be here because they are in the middle of litigation with Citizens Energy Group about how much Citizens is willing to pay them to put the pipes under their house. These are some old homes, mid-1800s homes, that their foundations could get hurt by the 48-inch diameter horizontal bore drill going underneath there. And that, I mean, a really important thing for me to say, and I would like you all to know, I have closely followed the path that Wessler intends to follow, at least with the delivery pipe of the water coming north to you guys. And according to their markers right now, close to me is a street called Moore Road. On Moore Road, there's a cemetery in which there's a Civil War veteran that's buried there. It's a historical site. And currently it is marked to have that water pipe go directly underneath that cemetery. And that's extremely troubling to me, and I think it should be to everyone in this room. Thank you.
All right, thank you. With that, we will entertain a motion to adjourn. And looks like our next meeting is scheduled for the 18th of March at 5 p.m. So if there are no other comments, I'd entertain a motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion made by Tim, seconded by Ann. All in favor signify by saying aye.
All right.
Any opposed? All right, we stand adjourned. Thank you, everyone.